if I remember correctly, I didn't even think about the stairs. I was like, I can't go down the elevator. What do I do? 10, 15 minutes of banging on the door, crying later. I remember I was like, I stopped crying. I look around and I hear people down the hall
Yes.
from their room.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Firestone Files. I'm Dr. Chris Firestone. Today, we have a little something different for you. An interview with somebody close to near and dear to my heart. His name is Andrew Firestone. Andrew is the youngest of my 5 children. And I'm just going to talk with him about what it means to be a Firestone and any of his memories that he wants to shake out there and tell us about and get to know him a little bit here. We've already, if you want to go back and look at episode 1, I introduced the kids, and now we're getting a chance to meet them, and I'll ask them about some of the things I said about them just to see if they think it was accurate. But that's it for you today. An interview with Andrew Firestone next on the Firestone Files. Enjoy. Okay, well, welcome to the Firestone Files. What a moment here. Andrew Firestone, my youngest son. Welcome to the Firestone Files.
Thank you.
Yeah, as you probably know, we've been at this for some time now, and I wanted to interview all the main characters in the Firestone Files. And, well, when I say character, I really mean
You got one.
Andrew Firestone, for sure. Good to have you here. You got by now, you've seen my little blurb about you guys. I couldn't tell the whole story. I just introduced you in brief.
Oh yeah, I did. Could have been better, but I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was pretty solid for all the kids.
Okay, all right.
I thought the kids.
So I introduced you, and then Rebecca, and then Emma, and then Matthew, and then Hannah, just in brief. And I used a Greek philosophy, the elements, to introduce you guys. And it was an insight I had many moons ago that maybe the Firestones are, representative of the 5 elements. Now, for you, I used water. I don't know if you recall what I said about that. And how'd you react when you heard your dad introducing you as water?
I thought it was pretty spot on. There were some things I can't distinctly recall, but I remember being like, "Oh man, that was mostly pretty solid."
Yes.
But most of it was pretty good. I think that the flexibility aspect of the personality of the just being able to chameleon your way in with all the other siblings, with a bunch of different people, I think fits me pretty well.
Yes. Well, it's hard to actually put any one person in any one category.
Exactly.
Of course.
And none of them were super spot on, but the general vibe and the overarching theme, I thought was there.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you. That's good, because I thought it was too, and some were maybe a little more obvious than others. But I really think you're the youngest in the group at the time of taping here, 18 years old, and but the water element of being flexible, being intuitive, learning new things. I'm getting to know that more about you over time, because some of these traits just kind of started coming up in the last few years. And so I thought water was a pretty good example of that. Well, one of the things we want to do in the Firestone Files, at least in this interview, I'm sure there'll be more down the road as life happens to all of us, but one of the things we want to do is just get to know you a little bit in terms of your upbringing and how you fit into the big Firestone scheme of things. You were the youngest. As I think of the Firestones, we had 2 of our children born in Scotland, and then 3 were born here in the United States. After I finished my PhD, or came back to the States and started at Trinity, we had 3 that were born here. Emma was born first, then Rebecca, and then you. And so that was pretty, that's always marked you in the family, from that standpoint. Maybe I just want to tease out at the beginning here some general thoughts about the Firestones. What does it mean to you to be part of the Firestone family? I mean, I can get into the details with regards to upbringing and some of the stories and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we will. Even today. Man, that's a tough question.
Should we come back to it like at the end? I mean, that's another possibility.
Maybe I'll give my super intuitive raw thoughts now.
Okay.
And then we'll revisit it at the end.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Perfect. Well, I don't know how good these are going to be because that's a very deep question to start off.
I'm a philosopher. I knew I'd throw you in the deep end.
Oh, yeah. You've been doing it for 18 years.
You are water, after all.
That's true. We're about to find out whether it's deep or shallow water, but let's see. I think that as a Firestone, I always think of ourselves as like, first and foremost, just like super independent, like self-starters for the most part.
Yes.
And then, but also we have like our family side of it is super like deep. Like we have great relationships with each other. And I think that's what really defines it. We're all super independent. Like going down the list, like from Hannah all the way to me, I think we're all very independent. But when we come back together, like at Thanksgiving or Christmas, it's always a blast.
Yes.
And we click so well.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what I've thought of our family as. Like individuals, but when you come together, it's like I don't think when I'm at college, I'm defined by other members of the family. But when I'm back home, it's like one melting pot of like personalities and
No, that's a good way of putting it. I mean, that's actually a pretty good start. Pretty good.
That's the person that
I think that really was brought into sharp relief for me when we moved down here to Hot Springs on a couple of different levels. I met a family. It's actually the president of the current school I teach at, the Capacey family, and they're a communal family.
Yeah,
they're individuals, but they don't live life individually.
Oh yeah.
Whereas the Firestones are kind of everywhere across the country. Mm-hmm. They've kind of moved out and done their thing. But we have a kindredness with the Capaceys because we're just as tight as they are, even though we're separated by some distance.
That's actually a really interesting comparison that I hadn't thought of. The Capaceys, they don't live together, but at some points it can seem like that. Like they're always together, they're always doing things together. They all live here. Right? None of them are.
They're all in Hot Springs. And
they're all here.
Live pretty close to each other for the most part.
And they're always together.
Yes.
And
they have this lunch after church for like the whole family gets together.
Yeah. Eric talks about all the time. So, but with our family, Hannah's all the way in California. Emma's all the way in Illinois. Matthew and I are doing our own thing, and we're in Nashville together, but we don't see each other all the time.
Right.
A couple times a semester.
He's in the armed forces. Yeah. You're in
we're
college.
An hour and a half away.
Right.
And Becca's out in the middle of nowhere, Indiana.
Yes.
So.
But you guys always make an intentional effort.
Yes.
To get together.
Yes.
Holidays or even surprise events. I mean, I've heard of some things. Maybe you can tell me about one. I heard you guys all saying, "Hey, let's meet at." Was it Nashville?
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? This is just a starter here. What?
So I believe Emma and Becca had been talking about for a while. Emma road tripping to Nashville, picking up Becca on the way.
Yes.
She's not out of the way, really. That had been in the talks a long time. Easy for Emma and Becca to do. They've been wanting to do like a road trip together.
Yes.
Matthew and I are in Nashville.
Yes.
Hannah hears about this. You know Hannah. She's not going to be left out while the four other siblings are together.
So she gets a plane ticket.
Yes.
And
I had a 3-day weekend. So they got in late Friday. I guess I didn't really get to utilize the Friday that I had off, but got in late Friday, picked me up. We all drove back to Clarksville, learned how to swing dance. That was when we all learned how to swing dance for the first time.
Oh, is that right?
That's when Matthew taught us.
Okay.
Because here's how I remember. I believe it was, I think Friday night, I was at Matthew's house in Clarksville.
Yes.
And this was actually a genius move from him. Great foresight. He was like teaching them how to swing dance, the 3 girls, when they get here. So much easier if you know. So actually, how I learned was Matthew moved that table,
yes,
pulled up the rug, and taught me how to swing dance.
Yes.
Right there on Friday night, just the 2 of us. He followed while I led him. We danced together for like 40, 45 minutes.
Wow.
Great foresight from him, because we get swing dancing the next day. We get to swing dancing so much better because
yes.
I mean, I'm not good at it, but I know the basic step and I can lead them.
Yes.
So
it struck me for a couple of reasons. One, it was the first time I can recall that the 5 of you independently said, we're going to make something happen. And the parents, well, they don't even know about it and they're not invited in anyway.
Yeah. When did you guys figure out?
I heard through somebody gave me a heads up, like something was happening in Nashville. I go, let me start inquiring around. So I started sniffing around. I go, son of a gun, they're all getting together without us.
Yeah, well, you know me. I'm not the planner. Emma, sometimes Matthew and Becca, also Hannah.
Right.
They're the planners.
Yeah,
I just heard like, oh, we're all going to be in town like 2 weeks from now. And I was like, oh, sick.
That's great. So, yeah, that's great.
But you're right. That is the first time that a significant portion of the siblings have been together without the parents.
Right.
I think more than 2.
And those when you guys had that shared experience of swing dancing, because Matthew's kind of an instructor of swing and he's got a partner, he's got a studio, and you guys were all taking advantage of that. You were then able to break off into different combinations in different locations. So you all have this shared experience at that point.
Yeah. Having 2 guys and 3 girls, 2 leads and 3 follows, very helpful for swing dancing. Couldn't have worked out better with 5 people. So, but you're right. There's something about like dancing, just like in general. I'm sure we'll get into swing dancing later.
Right.
But like, there's something about swing dancing that like you get to know the other person really quickly and really efficiently with time spent. Like,
well, this is, as you know,
and not that we needed that as siblings,
right?
But like,
well, with me directing the honors program here at Champion and also interim director at Turning Point USA Prep Year, I saw through you guys the way in which this kind of thing is. There's a hunger for young people because we, through COVID and through the internet and us all being disconnected, that when you put together stuff like this, you get a comfortability and it's kind of contagious.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that if in your prep year you get Matthew down there for a weekend,
right,
teach swing to a group of 34 students,
yes,
somewhat evenly split among leads and follows, I guarantee you it will spill over into following days and weeks.
Yes, well,
it will.
It's fascinating that we started here because it wasn't my intention to start here. I was thinking chronologically, but when you start talking about the nature of the Firestone family, I think it's a good example of being able to do your own thing, but also bringing something to the table that maybe the others didn't know, but you guys get along so well that you learn it and like you're better because of it, because all of you are participating in whatever that thing is. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of a foreshadowing, really, of where we kind of want to go, because I want to talk a little bit about your upbringing. Now, in the big scheme of the Firestone story, some of you who've been listening to the podcast probably know a little bit of this, but my wife and I, Beth and I, your mom and I were out overseas. We lived in Hong Kong, and then we lived in Edinburgh. 2 of the kids were born in Edinburgh, and then 3 were born here. But there was this long period where we were living on a place called Williams Avenue, about 2.5 miles from Trinity, where I taught. And that's really what I would call the millennial era, because that's the Hannah and Matthew era. homeschool. And now you were there, you were born there, but you didn't stay long. You
Yeah.
don't remember that much of it. Is that right?
Yeah. I came into consciousness right about when we moved.
Okay.
My earliest memories are building that room add-on to the garage in the Williams house.
Oh, okay.
Super early with Brandon Love, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
And
T.F. Gifford, I think.
Don't remember him.
Yeah,
I think Brandon Love, it's solidified because he came in later.
He came in all the time.
Yeah, all the time after that.
Right.
But I also remember bringing stuff across the train tracks.
Yes.
When moving, like mattresses and stuff. I remember standing in the new house yard.
Yes.
And watching like you and Brandon hustle across Waukegan with a mattress.
But yeah, this is one neat part of that story that I probably haven't told at this point is that when we had the downturn of the economy, 2008, 2009, a bigger house became available to us at a price we could just stretch and afford. But it was right across the train tracks. You could literally see it.
You can see the houses
right
from each other.
A couple 100 yards maybe. I don't really know how far. But there was a walkway across the train there. And so we were able to move a lot of our stuff that way.
And the nearest crossing was like half a mile down. It was Greenwood. So it's like 1.25 miles drive.
Right.
It's actually faster to walk.
Yeah, you just walk across the tracks. Now, while we were living in the new house, they closed that track, but we were able to move prior to their closing. For safety reasons, they closed the little walkway we had between the houses. But all this to say, your era was more in the chapel house, which was a bigger home.
Yes.
You have your own room right away?
Or? No. I shared a room with Matthew.
Okay.
Because Hannah was still there.
Okay.
We had 3 kid bedrooms, and then the spare.
Okay.
So the eldest child always got their own room. So Hannah got her own room.
I see.
Then Becca shared, and me and Matthew shared.
Right. And we had an extra room. It was kind of a playroom up there, a storage room.
We called it the playroom, but no one played in there.
I see. And so you kind of graduated into the single room.
Yeah.
And when Hannah moved out,
Matthew moved in, and I remember Becca throwing a fit because I mean I'm 8, she's 11, right. So this is a long time ago. But Becca threw a fit because I got my own room as the youngest.
Yes.
Just because of genders.
Yes.
And Emma and Becca still had to share because Matthew got the single room.
Yes.
And then I got my own room. And I remember...
And that's the nicest room up there. Other than the master bedroom.
Our room was the biggest other than the master. So the youngest child got the biggest room.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. But I remember Mom, when Becca threw a fit one day, like, she was like, based on your logic, Emma would get her own room and you would have to share with Andrew.
Yes.
She quieted down after that. She didn't want that. I wouldn't wish that on her anyway, but...
Yeah, wow, that's pretty cool. Now, so you get your own room eventually, and Matthew moves in the other one. Let me, as they come to my mind, let me mention 3 things, and you tell me which of them you thought was formative or interesting or something that you remember. I'm thinking of, some of the story times that we had.
Okay.
Where I would often come in and tell these off-the-cuff stories. We would have kids staying over, and they're all sitting in your room, hearing some crazy story I invented, or something we're reading out of the book. I don't know if you remember the Book of Virtues that we used to read from all the time. So that's one sort of thing that comes to my mind. When your upbringing, there's homeschool, which was for the Firestones, homeschool all the way through 8th grade.
Yep.
And then the high school's only, I don't know, it's like
just over half,
a couple blocks away.
Yeah, just over half a mile.
Okay. And so we just thought, for 2 reasons. 1, because it's so close, and 2, because you guys need to get into the world sooner or later.
Oh yeah.
We build a good foundation, and then you go to high school. So that's another thing that comes to mind, the homeschool to high school thing. I don't know, maybe youth group and church related activities. That was our socialization for the first, through 8th grade, youth group and church and other activities that were associated with that. Any of those things come to your mind in terms of being helpful, formative, interesting?
I think the most formative was, like, personally, homeschooling. But I think that's obvious. That's 8 years
Right.
of like life transforming.
Tell
That's
us,
all I know.
Tell us a little
That's all I
about your
know.
experiences there. I mean, what was unique about it? I know there were other people in the
Yeah.
house often.
I think the most unique thing was that we weren't like typical homeschoolers in like I got a comment when I went to high school, I think sophomore year. I got a comment from someone like, you know, you say you're homeschooled and I can see that, but you don't seem like a super like not socialized person.
Right.
Like you could tell because I said it, but like he wouldn't have like went out on a limb and said, "Oh yeah, you're not socialized." And I think that's because in homeschooling, mom had all the daycare kids there. So
right.
there were always between like 10 and 13 kids running around my age. Some of them my age, some of them a little younger, but there are always people there, and it felt like a daycare rather than like a school.
Yeah.
So I would do all my work, and this is a great skill I now have. I can work anywhere, under any noise, because I did it all of elementary and middle school. But I think that's the biggest thing for me was actually the homeschooling in conjunction with mom's daycare.
Yes.
And Shira and Shayna also being there. Shira and Shayna were kids my age and Becca's age.
Yes.
I believe. 2 girls who homeschooled with us. So it wasn't just the Firestones and younger daycare kids. There were 2 other kids who were also there. So there's enough.
And Avi was there for a year at one point, and others.
I don't really remember Avi as much being there.
Right.
But there was enough personnel as is where there was a social nature in and of the school that like I could be socialized in.
Yes.
Because there were so many people just running around.
Well, it was always, from my vantage point, coming home and seeing the controlled chaos was fascinating to me. But your mother was so, I don't know, organized, with, okay, here's what your assignments are. Mm-hmm. Here's the rhythm of the day. I hear that bell go off, Pavlov's dog, it's time for lunch.
Yep. She had that bell. She'd ring at 8:15 a.m. every single day. We'd go have Bible time for 20, 25 minutes. And then we'd go work until we had a break at 9:15 for 10 or 15 minutes. And then we'd work again at 9:30 until lunch.
All right.
Oftentimes we could get all of our work done then.
Yes.
But sometimes it'd go later, and then you'd work after lunch until you finished.
Okay.
So it was always structured. Yes. I have the times ingrained in my mind. The lunch was always at 11:30 or noon.
Okay.
One of those 2.
Yeah. And then you're kind of, the beauty of homeschool is you can get all your work done in half a day.
Exactly. Best thing about homeschooling as well. Well, best thing like for me. The value system and the learning is another thing. But the best thing for me, like selfishly, was that I could go at my own pace and get my work done fast.
Yes. Yeah.
Get done early, play with all the other kids.
Right.
Because you go to high school, there's so much dead time. We're like, yeah, I'll do homework, I guess. But like, so much dead time. Like, for me, PE. Yeah. Like, I'm a cross-country athlete. Like, give me a break. Don't make me go through PE. That just wastes an hour.
Right.
And that's a valuable hour. Didn't have to do that at home. Our PE was playing with the other kids.
Yeah, you're
wrestling and
kind of locked into a schedule.
Exactly.
And you have to go with the ebb and flow of whatever the day holds for you.
Yeah.
Whereas you could be really productive in homeschool and kind of get your work done.
And there definitely was a correlation between how much oversight we had from mom and how fast our work got done. Because when mom was standing there, you got your work done so fast.
Man, there's a lesson in there somewhere.
But like
accountability or something.
Yeah, I always used to. So whenever like I had in my mind, I got to get my work done. Either I had something I really wanted to play with or something I really wanted to do. I'd always sit near mom.
Yes.
And it wouldn't even she wouldn't help us. Uh-huh. But she would always, just like her being there, just made it so much faster.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, the homeschool piece is something that unites all the kids.
Oh, yeah.
and everybody kind of did the same thing. I think Becca's going to be an interesting interview here down the road because, she took a hiatus for a year, then went off to the grade school for a year.
Yeah.
And then she came screaming back.
She did not like that experience. Well, actually, I can't speak for her. I've never actually talked to her about it.
Yeah.
But,
well, it seemed like, she saw the value in the homeschool education.
Yeah. I also think it's tough to go like fourth grade. No. She went for fourth grade.
I believe it's right.
Right in the middle of it's not a new school. It's not a new environment. All the kids are already settled in. Yeah,
and they kind of know each other, and they have all those hurdles to cross. So, yeah, you guys didn't have to face that until becoming
Going
freshmen.
Into high school for me, though, was so easy.
Was it?
COVID.
Oh.
COVID.
Were you a freshman year COVID?
Yeah, freshman year COVID. So much fun.
It actually had some advantages, as I call.
So much advantage.
Yeah,
COVID put me ahead of the curve compared to everyone else because nothing changed for me. I just kept working from home. And then I went to school, or I went to cross country freshman year. We didn't go to school, but I went to cross country. That's where everyone made friends. Yes. That's why the cross country team my year was so...
It was tight.
It was tight.
Compared to other
years and other sports, because that was our friend group from freshman year. It was the cross country team.
Yeah.
So, but that no one had any friends when I got in. So it leveled the playing field. I was on equal footing.
Wow. Yeah. Tell me if I'm remembering this correctly, but it also redshifted with soccer, so you were able to participate in both that first year?
Yes. Becca, I had played soccer from second grade all the way through eighth. I wasn't very good, but I wanted to keep doing it.
Well, according to your dad, you were the best on the team. But,
he kept saying that, and it kept not happening.
Well, you were defense. It's hard to calibrate.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, I really wanted to play soccer. Becca had gotten into cross country her sophomore year, so 1 year prior.
Right.
She convinced me cross country is going to do great things for your fitness and track. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. That's why I did cross country. I didn't want to do cross country, if you recall.
So yeah,
Becca convinced me, and it ended up being great because I got all my friends there, and that was the friend group.
Right.
And soccer got shifted, and it ended up that I could do cross country, soccer, and track, even though normally soccer and cross country overlap.
Okay, so you were able to experiment your freshman year because of this. Yeah, they started making all the sports separated and time slots, and you were able to handle all that.
I don't fully understand why they did that, but it worked great for me because I got to do.
Right,
I got to try
you
all
might
three.
Never have discovered cross country if soccer consumed it.
I wouldn't have because I would have done soccer instead of cross country. Those two coincide, and track is just not the same thing.
Right.
And if I had gone into track saying, "Hey, look, I'm motivated and I want to be fit for soccer, and I'll try and I'll work really hard." They would have put me in either mid distance or short distance. Right. Because that's what I probably should have been doing for soccer training. But
you kind of enjoyed the soccer experience. It was at least it was socially, but also the fitness side of it. It was like a done deal at that point.
So doing cross country got me into long distance and track. And I think I enjoy soccer more than I do running.
Right.
But here's the thing. That soccer team at DHS my year was so bad.
Right.
And not just skill-wise. Skill-wise, we were pretty good. I say we. I was on the bench. But skill-wise, the team was pretty good. But that was the only real high school experience where I had that was super positive. Negative, socially negative.
Right.
Soccer practices, did not like going, hated the team.
Right.
Not everyone on the team. I made some good friends, and I still have some good friends from that team, but did not like it.
Right.
And I don't think I realized that freshman year because I did soccer sophomore year.
Yes. Oh, right. You were still in soccer for a bit.
I didn't do cross country sophomore year.
Oh, I didn't know that. Or I probably knew it but forgot it.
Yeah, almost. Well, I did soccer, and then I was like, man, that's not sustainable.
Right.
I don't want to go. I'm not going to get better, even though I like it.
Yes.
I'd much rather do something I don't like with all my friends, rather than something.
Yeah, because you're spending so much time in preparation with these guys,
exactly.
And you're feeding off of each other. But if you don't have that in the soccer world, What's the point?
And also, like, the cross country team is terrible at making plans
Right.
because the social time is during practice running.
Right.
So I would never get to see them because they never make plans. It's always just practice.
Right.
So I was isolated from the team and my friends also through that time, which was not fun. I made it back to track
Right.
in the spring, sophomore year, and I was like, I got good all of a
Right.
sudden that one season, and I was like, well, now I got decent,
Right.
and I was like, well, I'm way better at this, and I'm starting to enjoy it.
Right.
And all my friends are here. It was a no-brainer.
So your junior year, no more soccer.
No more soccer. It's cross country.
You're
and track.
all in on the soccer, the soccer, and I mean the track and cross country. So just to finish that story, how did that all wrap up for you? Your junior and senior year? Did you continue in college at all, or what? Or is that? I think there's a reversal in there.
I think this is getting into more like life story junior and senior year.
Right.
Like it was super formative because junior year, lots happened. Like junior year was probably the most formative year of my recent life.
Right.
And a large part of it was a large part of it. I gained a lot of confidence from cross country because I went from nobody to running on the state team all junior year of cross country.
Yes.
Like in like 2 months. And I went from 17:30 to 16:19 in like 3 races right at the end of the season.
Yes.
Made the state team. So not going in super in depth about the junior year yet, but like that. And then I went to track. It wasn't like a phenomenal season, but it was like an encouraging season, and I still got another year.
Was that year where I was witnessing you break the 5-minute mile? Was that?
That was sophomore
the summer.
Year.
That was the end of the sophomore year.
Yeah, that's when it
was like summer
decent.
Almost at that point.
Yeah. It was actually after the season.
Right.
And I had ran 5:03 in the last race. We have time trials afterwards. I ran the first time trial. I ran 5.02.
Right.
Or something. Terrible. Fisher, who was pacing me, felt so bad because he dropped out at halfway through.
Yes. And
he's way better than I was. He could have kept going.
Right.
And he was like, I'm so sorry, dude. I should have kept pacing you because my slowest lap was the third lap. So I'm pretty sure that the second time trial was mostly for me afterwards. And Fisher paced me. He paced me for 3 laps, and I ran 4:58.
And so the coach was he recognized the significance for your growth of helping you get to.
Because I'm not going to train or run the mile junior year cross country. It's going to be a full another year junior year track.
I see.
When I would break 5. So it was a significant development for me running wise, breaking 5 before the cross country season.
Yes.
I don't know if I don't break 5, I don't know how good my cross country season is.
But it solidified your thinking that you're making the right transition.
Exactly. I saw steady growth, and I broke 5, which is a big deal.
Right.
I mean, sophomore breaking 5, it's not like earth shattering. Most of my friends had done it.
You're in your right zone.
Yeah, most of my friends had done it, but also they've been training. Okay. This was I just come back from soccer. Yes. Like I was completely like not fit. It was like 1 season, break 5.
Okay. And now this junior year, obviously super important. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah. Senior year, is that you're now getting ready for college?
Senior year was very testing for cross country because I was super fit that summer. Right after junior year, I had a decent track season. I think I ran 2:04 in the 800, which was my main event. Not great, but if I can break 2 senior year, very doable, very good. I have a shot at state. So I'm super fit that summer. Take the 2-week break, we went to GLXC running camp. Then we took a 2-week break. Yes. GLXC, I placed top 5 at the camp, so I have a little medal. Yeah. That was a big deal, and took the 2-week, or maybe it was 1.5 week break, something, and then I started running again. Went to the Czech Republic at that point too.
I see. So this is where the church stuff comes in. Yeah.
The church stuff has been going on all throughout junior year. That was another prong of like the formation of junior year. But started training again, super fit. Like I was running. I thought I was running very well for a summer. And then I ran the first race of the season, 16:25. 6 seconds off of a PR. Not much in the 3 mile.
Yes.
First
That's
race
a pretty
of the
good
season.
start.
First race of the season, and it was a terrible race. Like coach was like, Andrew, you're low 16s right now. Like terrible race. So I'm super high right now. Like great fitness, great signs.
I feel like the hammer's going to drop here.
Got sick, injured, and then sick. All consecutive. I was out for like a month.
Oh no.
Out for a month. So I come back. I actually ran a race while sick because I was like, I'm done. I want to keep running. I ran like 16:45. Not bad for being sick. I'm like, I still got a shot at making the state team. So I come back, I start training again, and I think I say so fit. It's all relative. For me, I was really fit at the beginning of the season.
Right.
I was so fit at the beginning of the season that I was still running decent times.
Right.
And I was still close to a state, getting on the state top 7, getting varsity. So I remember it was at church. I was at youth group playing soccer. And
I think I recall this now.
I got tackled. Soccer tackled.
Is this a toe issue?
Yep.
Okay.
My toenail got ripped off.
Oh.
My big toenail got ripped off. This is 2 weeks before conference, and the state series is right after that. Starts with regionals. So I'm out for a week. I come back on 1 week of training. I run a insane race at JV conference because I was in JV. I was top 14, but not top 7.
Right.
So I ran JV conference. I got 3rd, and it was against the big school, New Trier. First time in like 12 years that they didn't get top 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. First time that their 15-point streak had been broken, and I broke it. I was 3rd. It was New Trier 1, 2, 4, 5. I got 3rd. So that actually got me into regionals. Right. Coach put me in regionals. Ran a crap race at regionals, and I got pulled for sectionals and state.
Okay. Wow.
So I was the alternate at sectionals and state.
Okay.
That was rough.
Yeah,
that was rough.
I do recall walking through those with you thinking, oh my goodness, he's one off, and he was all primed and ready, but a number of roadblocks.
And as soon as he put Ryan Jones, he put him in front of me at sectionals and state. Great decision. He ran amazing. So I definitely shouldn't have been there. Well, it was just because, do you remember? No, you weren't there at JV conference, but it was like this much water.
Yeah.
And it was so
I remember
muddy.
state the year earlier was
it was like state. It was like state, except at the Vernon Hills track.
Yes.
And it was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
That played incredibly to my favor. Because when the conditions get bad, at the high school level, the dice get rolled. And the positions
I always felt like the
really
taller guy has advantages there.
Yeah, because it's suction. It's like, I get my knees up.
Yeah.
And
you just keep moving.
Yeah, I can. And the water, like we were literally going through like
right. You have to hit the
water.
Literally less number of steps to run the race.
Exactly. Like my stride length, I noticed in that race.
Yes.
I remember I was running alone with like half a mile to go. Couldn't catch the first 2. They were out in front. But I had just passed the guy right behind me. He was now in 4th. I was in 3rd. I just passed him, and so I had like a stretch all to myself straight away. Yes. And I was like, my stride length is so long right now. I remember thinking that. I was like, why is my stride length so like long? And looking back on it, it's probably because every step was terrible.
Right.
And reducing those is probably
it's like you're running on lily pads or something.
Exactly.
This one to the next.
Exactly.
Well, it sounds like that sports were pretty formative for you, like a metaphor for your life, growth, your socialization, accomplishment, and that didn't continue in college. You decided not to go for the athletic, or at least the track and the cross country, but you went a different direction, kind of interestingly back.
Yeah. So senior year, I trained that winter after cross country, and I was doing pretty good. I'd say I was an average winter, but going into track senior year, I lost all motivation for it. I'm sure it had something to do with missing state, like so barely.
Lights, please. My apologies, everybody.
um,
all right. Well, sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah.
to
Where
cut
was
you
I? Oh, cross country. I trained that winter. There was, I'd say it was pretty decent training, like not like great, not like the summer before senior year, but it was good. But I lost all motivation to run, and I'm sure it had something to do with the cross country collapse.
Yes.
Oh, wait, that's pretty good. The cross country collapse.
Could be a chapter title.
It could. It could. No, that's if I ever write a memoir, I'm sure that'll be in there.
You also have graduation coming. You're starting to think about a future. You didn't have the fall that you wanted to have.
Exactly.
And but you finished out.
Yeah.
I remember going to some of those races.
I didn't. I didn't do
finish
track senior year.
You didn't
I
do
quit track senior year.
Is that right?
Yeah, I started lifting instead.
Okay, so you make this transition. Is this now the new college mindset? I'm getting ready for the future.
So I knew already. You remember I had inklings like, oh, maybe I want to run in college.
Yes.
Maybe I could run at like a D3 school or something.
Yeah.
But by the time it had been Geneva versus Lipscomb,
yes,
I was like, I'm not running at either of these places. Lipscomb's D1,
right.
Geneva, way too hilly, and also it's just not the sports vibe.
Right.
It's an academic school.
Right.
So I knew I wasn't running already. And after that cross country collapse, it was just I was just done with running. I had no motivation left. I remember it was like a mental breakdown. I remember it was the morning I went and got my license for the first time. I came back and there was a mock meet, not even a real meet, a mock meet that night, just to like open the track season. I was still running on the team.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I hate that. I hate the thought of going there and like racing.
Yes.
So I emailed my coach and I'm like, I'm off the team until further notice.
Right.
And I never came back.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
So that was I wouldn't have ran in college. I already knew that. That's one of the reasons why I maybe lost motivation.
Yes.
That in conjunction with cross country and everything. So, but also at that point, I had a lot of classes with my friends. So the social aspect didn't really take a hit. I was hanging out with Dane and Edwin.
Okay. So those
Jonesy
friends were solidified at that point.
Yeah, because at that point we were in high level math and then AP physics together.
Right.
So all my good friends, I was in all the like STEM
Well, I noticed that even when you go back to this day, you sometimes run with these guys. Or
I'll go back and I ran with Edwin when I went back.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Dane and Jonesy were in San Diego, but I got to see Edwin again. And if they had been there, I would have ran with them too.
So you end up at Lipscomb University. You're now in your sophomore year, and you're taking up not running but
soccer. Yeah, so
this is like a surprise
full circle.
Turn back to your original.
Full circle. Well, here's the thing. I started lifting the spring that I quit track senior year.
Right.
So I completely dropped running. I started trying to gain weight.
Right. So you're out of the.
I was 145.
Right.
When I was running.
So you're seeing.
So as soon as I don't have an excuse to be like this thin, you got to gain a little bit of weight.
Right.
So I started lifting and eating and completely dropped running. And also without the friends there, the social aspect, there wasn't as much of an incentive.
So you can continue working on yourself, but not.
Yeah.
You don't have
running.
That other outlet.
I don't have to do running.
Right.
And I think I realized that, and I much more enjoy lifting.
Right.
I'll still go for a run occasionally. I still do love it, but it's not like something I want to be doing constantly. It's
or competitively.
Competitively.
Yeah.
So I get to college and I'm like, okay, I'm lifting, I'm not running. And I didn't do soccer that whole first semester. But second semester, I have a good friend named James. He's not in my friend group, but he's in my engineering cohort. He's in EE. He's a double E. So we had all the same classes together. We walked from class to class together.
Yes.
He's from South Africa. He was in the soccer club. He was like, you should come out.
Right.
So I went out at the beginning of second semester and I was like, man, this is so much fun. I was like, because I still do. I love playing soccer.
And how would you compare the social stuff with freshmen in high school?
Oh, it's so much better.
Okay.
It's James and his friend group.
Right.
And even though I don't know all of them super well, I know that I got
But
to
these
know
are
them through
decent
soccer
people
club, and they're good people who
right.
I like playing soccer with.
Okay.
And it was also helpful as another outlet because my friend group is a lot of people, 15, 18 people.
Right.
And I think having another set of people, not like great friends, but like people who I hang out with during soccer, was very helpful because I didn't really have like another friend group outside of that.
Okay, well, I think we've pretty much handled the significance of the athletic part of it. Now it's become a sort of tag on to your college education,
Yep.
but it's still part of who you are. Now let's go back a little bit because I'm thinking more about the family life and so forth. A lot of highlights in your journey to through the sports world, but inside the family, is there a trip or is there a joint experience or anything memorable that would prompt you to think, man, I'll never forget that.
Man, like in terms of the family, I think the two big trips we took to DC and we took to Disney World. Disney World. I think because they were so different, like we always went to Arkansas, we always went to Minnesota.
Right.
Those were every single trip
right.
that we went to one of those two places were basically the same.
Yes.
Like when we went to Arkansas, it was always crystal mining, mountain biking, hanging out with grandpa, swimming.
Yes.
When we went to Minnesota, it was always cousins, more cousins, and
a few aunts and uncles.
A few aunts and uncles. So, but we went to DC, we went to Disney World, and those were so different to any trip we took before. Oh, and the DC, I know we're thinking of the same thing.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the DC trip. Now, just to set the stage, we went out there. It's kind of a colonial trip.
Yeah, we went to Virginia, right?
Virginia.
We were more Virginia.
Yeah,
not as much DC. DC was like a day trip, right?
Yeah.
DC was more a day trip.
More day tripping.
Yeah. And we were more in colonial.
We did Yorktown and a few of the other places there.
But where were we staying?
We were staying at a basically a hotel-like place.
Hotel-like
but I think it was through somebody's timeshare.
Yeah.
As I recall, somebody gifted us a timeshare from church. I remember that. It was a good family that did that for us. So we took advantage of that, as every homeschool family would. We got a very nice place out there in Williamsburg, and we arrived, taking our minivan. It's a big family trip to a place none of us had been to before. And
you've never been to DC before that?
I was at DC, but we stopped in Williamsburg. That was the area that I hadn't been there. And so we saw some, really
saw some pretty cool things.
Yeah.
That picture of me, you, and Matthew in the armor on the mantle in the new house.
I forgot about that. So they had the old...
That's immortalized from that trip.
Colonial towns and stuff that we visited. And so that was formative. One thing that the family folklore always talks about.
Family folklore. This is family folklore.
Is about, you had a penchant for
I used to sleepwalk sometimes.
Yeah.
It wasn't super regular, right? Like I wouldn't know.
No,
but I remember it was as early as like 6.
It seemed like it happened every once in a while, every few months or something.
Every few months. And it was always when I'm super tired.
Right.
I remember that. I remember whenever I'm super tired, there's always a chance of sleepwalking.
Yeah.
So this trip was brutal. Constant walking, constant, like, we're up a lot. And we're homeschoolers. We always go to bed at 8, get up at like 7. We always get 11 hours of sleep. Me, I'm on like 8 hours. This is new territory. I'm dead tired. And I still remember the dream. I'm dreaming that I'm playing with Emma, and she had a key card, and we walked out of the door of the hotel room.
Yes.
The door shuts,
and
I wake up. Like the door's like loud, and I like jump, and Emma's gone. Emma disappears. I had been sleepwalking.
Yeah.
I'm 8.
Yeah.
8?
Something like that. You were young.
Young.
Maybe younger.
Maybe younger than that. Super young.
Yeah.
I'm super young. 7, somewhere around there. I just start crying, just bawling, and banging on the door.
And no one could hear you because in this timeshare we had, there were 2 inner doors that separated 2 separate units. You had walked through 2 of them to get out
both
and locked yourself out.
No key card, no nothing. And I remember I used to have a fear of elevators when I go in them alone.
Right.
So I didn't use the elevator, and I was too scared to go down the stairs. I don't even think and if I remember correctly, I didn't even think about the stairs. I was like, I can't go down the elevator. What do I do? 10, 15 minutes of banging on the door, crying later. I remember I was like, I stopped crying. I look around and I hear people down the hall from their room. So I walk down the hall and I find the door and I can hear people in there doing stuff. I don't know what it is. Talking.
Yes.
It wasn't like super loud. It wasn't like music blaring. It was like just people talking.
Yes.
So I knock on the door, and looking back on it, it was at 2 a.m. Probably not a good idea to knock on people's doors who are still up at 2 a.m. But there I was, and the guy later told us, he was like, yeah, I looked out the peephole and there was no one there because I'm too short. So he opened the door. Thankfully, he was a very nice man. He took me down. I was like, yeah, that's my room. So got the number, went down, went to the front desk, and they called you.
Yes.
You didn't pick up. Your room didn't pick up. You woke up, right?
I vaguely recall getting up, but I don't remember how we got up.
Yeah, but
I think they might have rang the phone in the room.
No, they did. They did. Because I remember he was like, man, they didn't wake up to that? That thing's loud. So,
we were all zonked, obviously.
Everyone was out. Everyone was out. He was like, you're sure that's the room number? The attendant. I was like, yeah, that's the room number. So we go up there and with a card.
Yes.
And he opens the door again, and there you are. You had gotten up.
Yes.
And maybe we had like knocked on the door, and then you had heard it because you were already up from the phone.
Right.
You opened the door in your underwear, and I remember you looking just completely like, huh? Like just like dead tired. Like you're not awake. And you're like, Andrew. I was terrified to go back to sleep. So I slept with a key card in my pocket. And it was fine after that. Didn't sleepwalk.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I remember it was later revealed, Matthew, because me and Matthew were sleeping in the living room area.
Yes.
Matthew had gotten up when I was up, and he was like, Andrew, are you okay? Go back to bed. And then he went back to bed, and I walked out of the room. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Yeah, Matthew had gotten up and he didn't know I was sleepwalking.
No.
It's just like, But like, he had gotten up and was like, Andrew, go back to sleep.
Yeah, wow.
So,
well,
he got a lot of crap from me after that.
A lot of things happen when you take journeys together.
Oh, yeah.
It's unexpected stuff. I don't recall anything quite like that on the Disney World. I mean, the Firestone family has only once gone to Disney World. It seemed like an American tradition. And I don't even remember how we saved for that because it's obviously quite expensive. But we went. And, I mean, you mentioned it. Is there anything about, I'm just trying, that was a long drive as I was Chicago to Orlando in one go.
Like 16 hours?
Yeah.
17 hours?
And we went through the night, got there in the morning the next day.
I don't remember a ton.
We had a lot of fun,
trip.
but I can't.
We had a lot of fun, but there wasn't any like
No.
super moments.
Right.
If I remember, my favorite was not Magic Kingdom, Epcot.
Yeah.
My favorite was Epcot.
I think it's a lot of our favorites because I'm trying to.
That's the one with all the different places around the world, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Around the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our favorite. I remember because everyone loved
one of the oldest ones there, but it's still a favorite.
We weren't very well traveled. Well, not the kids. So
Right.
we had a lot of fun going around all these different countries.
Yeah. Oh, that's super cool. So we had some of those trips and, just, what else is there anything, what would you consider, let me ask you this question. You consider mom and dad like real hands-on, sort of what they call helicopter parents, or do you consider mom and dad more what they call free range, kind of let you guys do your own thing?
Free
Or are we
range.
somewhere in the middle? Oh,
Free range.
Whoa. Why? Hold on a second. I guess I kind of consider myself free range. Does mom really like that? I mean,
okay. Well, here's the thing. I think it differed a lot from kid to kid. Right. I'm sure you were helicopter parents for him and Matthew.
No, there's some truth to that, I think.
Yeah. So, and it got less and less and less.
Yes.
And by the time I was in 7th, 8th grade, it had all but disappeared. And then mom stopped doing daycare.
Yes.
So there's no kids. She didn't give a care in the world to what I was doing from 7th and 8th grade.
So it was a lot less structured.
It was a lot less structured. And I remember there's one time, we didn't do this much, but there's one time I was out with the cross country kids late, and I came back at like 11. And mom was like, "Oh, hey Andrew, where'd you go?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just out with the cross country kids." She was like, "Okay." Like 11.
That sounds a lot more like my upbringing, more than what you would expect from a homeschool family.
Yeah. But at that point, from like 7th grade on, it was all broken because mom, that the structuredness was broken.
Right.
Mom
did not care. 13 kids in the house.
She did not care about structuring anything anymore. She's completely done with that. Then she got the job at church, so she actually had things to do, stuff on her mind. Yes. But it wasn't us, or wasn't me for once.
Okay.
So, and you have never been a helicopter parent ever. So.
Well, I can't say you're wrong about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know what that was until I met some people in church. So I saw, that's a very different way of raising your kids.
Yeah, that kid is super disciplined.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, yeah, I got to agree with you that Hannah and Matthew definitely had more regimen, in their daily structures. Yeah. And then it seemed like with every kid that began to slip away a little bit.
Yeah. And I think the not homeschooling, the daycare got a lot bigger when Hannah and Matthew left. Right. So there was still structure, but mom had a lot less focus on us.
Right.
There's a lot less focus on us. So it started going down even before mom eliminated the daycare. Because there were so many kids that she just like.
No, how do you? I mean,
didn't have the time.
This is a little more philosophical question, but how does that make you different than your other siblings? I mean, you got Hannah and Matthew. We have one who's running an institute out in the West Coast. We had another one who's a Green Beret. Now your path is not yet set. You're still in college and stuff. Do you see any differences in how those upbringings have played themselves out in your life?
I don't know if it's not easy to put your finger on one specific thing. But if I had to, I guess it would just be like Hannah and Matthew always seem to have a plan,
right?
Like for their life, even.
Right.
Like Matthew, he's got a plan for like 5 years down the road.
He's like,
at least
if there's a superhero, he's like Batman. It's like he's always got something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's always got the next steps in mind.
Right.
I'm not like that at all. And I don't know if Hannah's a little bit more of like a free spirit, but even she
plans. She's a firstborn.
She plans much more than I do.
Right.
Like my day, like I have in my head what I want to get done.
Right.
And I try to get everything done by the end of the day, but it doesn't always happen. I don't ever write it down. I don't ever have times for anything. And even beyond that, to something bigger like college, do you remember how I accepted Lipscomb's offer?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I did not care where I went to college.
Well, this is worth at least giving a couple of minutes here, too, because we went on the typical Firestone family tour of colleges. I was a professor at Trinity, and we had access to a variety of good schools that might consider giving you a free tuition waiver, that kind of thing, because of my 25 years of service. And it really boiled down to two schools.
In the end, it was two schools. I had mentioned this before, Geneva and Lipscomb.
Yes.
And they were very different, but they both had everything, or they both had stuff I wanted.
Right. They had the engineering.
They both had the engineering school.
And they both had people who were close to your life, living locally.
Yeah. Matthew was in Nashville, near Lipscomb. The Pierces were out in Pittsburgh.
Clinton,
Actually,
Pennsylvania.
like way nearer to school than Matthew is to me now.
That's right.
It's like half an hour.
So they were like 30 minutes
they were like 30
from
minutes.
Geneva
Matthew's like
College. And Matthew was kind of an
but
hour.
But it's so different, the schools. Geneva was a small school, super engineering focused, super academic.
Kind of communal.
Communal.
Right on the
very
river
communal.
there.
Right on the river, small town. Lipscomb is a little bit bigger. I mean, it's not a big school.
Right.
It's like 3,000 students.
Right.
But it's a little bit bigger.
Right in the center
right
of Nashville.
in the city.
Yeah.
Well, not in the center of the city, but it's like in city boundaries.
Right.
And it's still communal because it's like private Christian.
Right.
But it's less communal. There's outside influence.
You're right. You're
a lot more
you're
than
integrated
Geneva.
with the local community out of necessity. It's a big city there.
Exactly.
And so you, as I recall, you got good packages from both of them.
And it was a similar financial
right. The
deal,
arrangement, the finances were a wash in terms of what they would mean to you ultimately. But we visited both, had great experiences at both. And, if you could be in two places at once, you might have done that.
I liked both. I really did, from an academic, and loved, honestly, the Pierces being near Geneva was a huge plus. That is really the only reason that gives me hesitation right now. Because Matthew, he's so much more busy.
Right.
And he's further away.
Right.
And it gives me a lot more independence. I still see him a couple times a semester, but it still gives me a lot more independence.
Right. But you're
Pierces
on your own a little more.
Yeah, I'm on my own at Lipscomb more so.
And now here's the point of decision's fascinating. So you're in both. You're having a little bit of cognitive dissonance about the whole thing because your mother and I and others keep asking you, which one are you going to choose? And you're like, I don't care.
I really didn't care. Like this goes back to the water thing, but it's also like I can do good in both. I really don't care.
And you've done due diligence.
I was confident in both that like if I go there, I'll
have a positive experience.
I'll have a positive experience.
So one of them, and this might be a lesson for us who are in academia.
Yeah.
They said, "Look, we gave you a deadline, and we're going to hold you to it."
No, she called us.
Oh,
it's
right.
like today's the deadline.
Oh,
for the offer or something like that. The offer snuck up on us somehow.
Yeah.
I forget if we called and she was like, my advisor is she, and she was like, yeah, the deadline is like tomorrow. Or if I forget if she called me.
Yes.
But somehow we figured out the deadline is like the next day.
And I believe I said,
asked her, can I get a day extension? Can we get till tomorrow?
Yes.
And she was like, yes.
Yes.
So
you went into
I went into I didn't think about it the next day at all anyway. Like
right.
I knew that the deadline
may have been your subconscious processing, but you weren't consciously thinking about
I really still wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I don't
right.
It was looking back on it, I really should have been a lot more like invested in where I go to college, but I really wasn't.
Well, that's very different than you and Hannah and Matthew.
Yeah,
that's because
Hannah and Matthew, I'm sure, had a lot more.
Yeah, they were laying out fleece and they were really trying to grapple with where they should be in life. But you were more like,
it doesn't. I don't have a plan. And I'll do great in both places.
So they hold your feet to the fire, and I remember you basically saying,
I remember you told me, Andrew, you should accept this. You have 2 days to go back on it, call her, and you can say, I slept on it, it didn't sit right.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to take back my
there was a bit.
And you told me that, and I was like, that's a great idea. More non-committal. So I committed to Lipscomb.
The committed, non-committed,
answer. I accepted Lipscomb's offer, and I didn't think about it again.
And it sat okay with you.
It sat okay. Okay. And I was like, I think your idea was like, if he accepts it and it sits well with him, just make an existential decision.
Yes.
And take the leap. So I ended up Accepting Lipscomb's offer, declining Geneva's.
Did you have any not buyer's remorse, but regret of losing the other one?
No.
Because it was a non-reality until you took it anyway.
Exactly. It was like, I really didn't.
Okay, well, when I'm looking at life planning and I see they are pretty divergent, now there's similar educations
so
in some way.
Different.
One's a community-focused, more intense kind of module format or cohort kind of format, and this one's much more open city.
Yeah, I think that one, the Geneva would have been a lot more like you find internships through your professors, through the people you know, through
the local
community.
Right.
Lipscomb's a lot more like, oh man, you got to find internships everywhere. You just got to start applying.
All over the country.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Pennsylvania is a little more insulated as a local place, and Nashville's a little more international. So, you had a reasonably good time at Lipscomb.
Yeah, I had a great time at Lipscomb. There were the points at the beginning where before I found my friend group, it got rough, but after that, it was great experience so far.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So you and Becca are college people. Emma graduated from Ouachita Baptist, and we'll hear from her later on. And Hannah graduated from Amherst. Matthew went a different route. He went in the military, but he's been working on his degree de facto through the military, which
he's
is
almost done, isn't he?
I think he's close.
He's very close.
Yeah, almost done. Maybe he's done even. You never know with that guy.
Yeah, you never know.
So yeah, all that's really cool. What I don't know in terms of parting thoughts. Do you have any your other siblings? Any thoughts about your other siblings and how you fit into that? I'm going to ask them the same question.
Okay.
About you and about their other siblings, but how do you process being fifth born and how they? We talked about it earlier. Maybe this is kind of our last question for you, but as you place yourself among them, let me give you one example. I have a template, and the template is I've got a girl-boy combination and a girl-boy combination at the beginning and at the end. Then you got Emma in the middle, and she doesn't have a complement the way those two. And the older ones, I don't know if they're the millennials or what. They were born pre-2000, and you guys were born post-2000, and we have fun thinking about that. Is there a template you process?
Oh, absolutely,
with
and
your
it's different
siblings?
from yours.
Yeah.
Emma and Becca are best friends. I think of them together.
Yes.
And myself is more the lone.
Right.
With Hannah and Matthew as
that's interesting.
Old people.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. Because like Emma and Becca have a much better, well, not better, but like a much more like they're much more bonded than me and Becca are.
So like their personalities blend.
Yeah, and they're both girls. They're the only siblings who are the same gender right next to each other.
Right.
And do you remember at Hannah's wedding when the photographer was taking pictures of us four? Yes. Matthew wasn't there because he was in the military, but he was like, "Look at your favorite sibling." Immediately, me and Hannah looked at each other, and Emma and Becca looked at each other. And I think a lot of the times, that's not how I think about. I think that is how I think about the family, where me and Hannah are best friends, Emma and Becca are best friends, and then Matthew's sort of on his own.
Right.
But then when I think about like in terms of age and in terms of like chronological order, Hannah and Matthew, Emma and Becca, and
then you. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's funny. It took me interviewing you to actually hear that and process that a little bit. Does that work itself out in your life in any kind of significant way, do you think? Or is it, are you more independent, or are you,
Yeah, I think that like when I was a kid, there were no other boys. It was Shira and Shayna, and then Emma and Becca.
Oh, right.
So there was an aspect where like I am on my own.
Yeah, I see.
Like, and I think that contributed to it too as well.
Yes.
Like contributed to the feeling of like me
Well, being the
being
fifth born, they start disappearing from the house, and
Yeah,
you end up
like
being
Emma
by
and-
yourself.
Hannah and Matthew, I don't remember. Hannah particularly, I don't remember much about when she was living with us.
And yet you still feel
And yet-
relatively close to her.
Yeah, because she made the most exerted effort to
So include you in the
include
mix.
me.
Yeah.
And I think also she didn't have to deal with me. So
Man, no wonder
she was out of the house. Yeah, exactly. But I remember those photo shoots she used to do with me and her. We used to do photo shoots together. Me and her.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. Just as a sort of as we wrap up here, there's a lot more we can talk about, and I try to mark these things down and revisit them later, and I'm sure we'll have a chance down the road, because it'll be fascinating 10 years from now if we do this again. The podcast's still going, who knows, interview and
part two
and see where your journey is taking you. But I think of things like I would never have become a soccer referee if it wasn't for your involvement in soccer.
You were barely a soccer referee.
I had to go through the training, because the problem was you had to forfeit if you didn't have a parent who was trained to be a referee if the referees didn't show up.
Yeah.
So strange rule, but I can see why they do it. But I did the class and I got the uniform and I went and I refereed a couple of games. I wasn't.
Do you remember you getting into that really big argument with the other coach?
Yes, that's what's got me down that pathway.
Because it was technically an away game.
Yes,
it was an away game, so they had to supply the ref. If the refs didn't show up, the refs didn't show up, and the other coach, threw a hissy fit.
Yes.
And you didn't help the situation. You escalated it. You started yelling at him like, "You need to be the ref," and you were right. But like, you guys had like a yelling match, and I remember the kids were just like,
my
up
apologies.
there. Brickyards.
Yeah.
Brickyards, like up on that little hill there where the benches were.
Yeah.
All the kids were just up there like climbing trees. Well, you and the coach were like, we're going at it, and the parents are on the other side of the soccer field, just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Eventually he was like, yeah, I'm wrong, I'll ref. And I don't know, was he a qualified ref?
Probably not.
Probably not. He probably just.
I don't believe he was, because he wouldn't.
Yeah, because he would have taken it a lot better.
Yeah.
If he was, but yeah, that you say that, and that's the memory that comes to mind.
Wow, we could go with these prompts all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But
story after story.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming. I know you're on your way out of town here soon, so
I am.
So I wanted to get this interview in while I still had you around, and hopefully we get to interview your other siblings, and then people can kind of share their own comparisons and thoughts about how that all relates to each other. So,
I don't know how many of these I'm gonna listen to, because I've probably heard all of them before, but I'm definitely listening to the siblings interviews for sure.
Yes, because I have a feeling they're going to get even more interesting. You better not give them any of your details, because you want them to be totally off guard. Well, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. And we're going to draw to a close this interview of Andrew Firestone on the Firestone Files. Thanks for coming, and bye for now. See you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by to spend some time with me here on the Firestone Files. I hope today's reflections offered you some new insights and perspective on life. If you enjoyed the episode or found it valuable, I'd appreciate it if you'd take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you? What challenged you? Or what would you like to hear more about in future episodes? Drop a comment below or send in your suggestions to the email in the description. Your input helps shape where we go next. This has been Dr. Chris Firestone. Until next time, keep asking the big questions. And remember, the kingdom journey is always best with your friends. Further up and further in. Bye for now.